And welcome to Faith Feature. We have a special guest today joining us via Skype from Massachusetts. He is Pastor Chuck Mosher, who has a history with the Mars Hill Network and with the North Country, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Pastor, great to see you. Thanks for reaching out to us, and welcome to Faith Feature.
Well, it's a pleasure to be with you, Rich. It's real joy to be back talking to somebody from Mars Hill, and like you said, we have some history back in the day, back in the early 2000s. Mm-hmm. So it's great to be on.
So tell me a little bit more about that. You were up in Bangor, New York, up in Franklin County, yes. With WMHQ up in the North Country, Messina, Malone, Cornwall, Ontario. You served in that area for many years. Tell me about your experience up there and what ultimately led you to Massachusetts, where you are now.
Well, I was pastoring in New Hampshire for most of my career, and somebody from Malone, actually they were from New Hampshire, and they bought some property in Malone, a farm, and so they said, it's one of those things where you say, well, if they decide, if you need a pastor someday, just let me know. Well, a couple of years went by, and I got that call. We need a pastor. So I made the call, and we started back in 2005 up in North Bangor Baptist Church, and it was a great opportunity, and it was just a lot of fun. It was I don't think I've ever had so much fun in ministry before. So it's great to be able to enjoy ministry, but. And then there were some people from our church or in our area that were on the board for Mars Hill, and they asked about, because they put up the new station up there, recently, and they asked if I was interested in being a part of Mars Hill in some manner, and then Pastor of the Day gave me an opportunity for about 3 years, and then I did some spotlight with Dan Dunn, because I have a nursing home ministry that I made very popular here in New England, Autumn Years Ministries, and Mars Hill wanted to do some PSAs for the Mars Hill network people to advertise the need for nursing home ministry in their churches, and so we have a good history back there, and finally, my wife had muscular dystrophy, and it was taking a toll on her, and I had to take a sabbatical back in June of 2011, and went back to Massachusetts, where she did later meet the Lord, and so I was really without any ministry for good 5 years until I remarried. My sweetheart from high school. She had lost her husband as well, and we just got together, and she was a teacher here in North Adams, Massachusetts, for probably close to 40 years, and so when we got married, I just came up here to live with her practically, and opportunities came up, and over in Hancock, which is about 30 minutes from here. We're about a mile from the New York border. We're way west in the Berkshires of Massachusetts, and so they said their pastor had died, and they were looking for just to fill the pulpit for a while, and they'll be looking for a pastor soon. And so I says, yeah, I'll sure, let's do this. And so 4 months went by, and I kept asking, what is your search committee? I mean, as far as, are they searching for a pastor? And they says, no, I don't think we need to search for a pastor. We want you. So that's the way it ended up. And yeah, I know. It's one of those marriages made in heaven kind of things.
It sounds like it in more ways than one. That was an incredible testimony, just wrapped up into a couple of minutes of how the Lord led you from one place to another, and I appreciate you continuing to be connected with us at the Mars Hill Network, and for your thankfulness, to the ministry. We might need to boost the signal of WMHH 96.7 out of Albany and the Capital Region, because that's pretty close to the edges. We might need a little more oomph to get over the mountains to you, but at least we're close by, and you can always listen on the app and stream online, of course.
Well, I do. That's how when I take my walks during the day or whatever, I definitely get into the website, or I can do it at home with if I say her name too loud, she comes on. The A. I say, A, please turn on WHMR and MHR, and she'll play for as long as I want. And but if I mention her name, she'll come up and interrupt us. So
I was just going to say, she will interrupt the interview, and remember, they're always watching.
Yes, I know.
Oh boy! Well, you mentioned Brother Dan Dunn, whom, of course, we miss. He was a huge blessing to me and a mentor to me. We certainly miss him. Mark Hart has been sick, and we certainly pray for him. We have a lot of things that we are thankful for. We're thankful for the time that we have to be a part of this ministry. We're thankful for the time that the Lord puts us on this earth. And I just want to ask you, more related to this pandemic, how your congregation, how your area is faring with everything, and what do you see going forward? What encouragement can you give people going forward on this journey?
Well, it certainly has been different doing ministry. We have a small church, it's only country church. Hancock only has like 700 people, and that's probably why, I've been bivocational all my life in the smaller churches, because somebody needs a pastor in these small churches, So, so there are some that are older in the congregation. They don't have access to internet, and some have. Some still don't have high-speed internet in these areas, so it's very difficult to minister. I've been doing a lot on Facebook and doing messages every week in Facebook, and we have other churches in our community. And where I live in North Adams, it's a small city, and there's many ministries that are going on. There are food pantries, and there are different things that are going on there, and they are in our community here. They're really stepping up and doing some great work with the public and with the people. My nursing home ministry has been hit really hard with some of the people there, and we're trying to get apps for the residents, because I have 3 ministries that I do in the nursing homes as chaplain, and they want to try to do like a Zoom or something where I can personally, can take the tablet over to the resident, and we can pray with one another, and to be personal there without even being there. And I've been sending them some links here and there on how to minister in these times. Because, if the nursing homes, they do depend on their volunteerism, a great amount of volunteer work in nursing homes, and to have 2 or 3 people in activities do everything. It's very strenuous, no doubt. So we're trying to work with it. It's tough. And, we're trying to be patient with all of this. A lot of phone calls, trying to get personal. But all in all, we're just trying to be patient, and we're doing a lot of meetings online with Zoom and other apps for pastors, and that we are trying to share ideas and how we can work with our congregation. It's unprecedented, really. When you think about it, who's ever in our generation who's ever went through this? So it's innovative, no doubt. And I'm glad we have internet that we can use, because if we didn't, I don't know what we would do for ministry. I really don't. We depend on it really quite a bit right now.
depending on it for work, depending on it for ministry, and
Yeah.
it's certainly a blessing that you're able to reach out to folks that way, especially those that need it the most. I know a lot of folks in the North Country are certainly glad to see you again and miss you, and we appreciate you staying connected with our ministry. And once again, we'll try to boost that signal a little bit into Massachusetts if we can. We'll certainly do our best. Pastor Chuck Mosher joining us from Massachusetts via Skype for today's Faith Feature. Thanks for the update. Thanks for the testimony. And we'll certainly be praying for you and your ministries there as we go forward.
Well, thank you, Rich. I appreciate talking with you, and it's great to be able to listen to Mars Hill out here. I'll tell you, there really isn't anything like Mars Hill out here. So it's a real blessing to be able to plug you in and just listen. And you have great programming, and thanks to Wayne Taylor and the people there at Mars Hill, and we truly appreciate it.
And like everything that we do, especially in areas like that, we want to give people hope in the journey, and we're certainly glad that we're able to do that for you. Thank you again, Pastor. God bless.
All right. Thank you very much for having me today. God bless you.